12 Trump-endorsed candidates have lost Republican primaries in 2026, including 3 just on Tuesday night. And what is happening is that Donald Trump's endorsement has become flaccid. It used to be rock hard, striking fear into Republican politicians everywhere. If Trump endorsed a different Republican in a primary, you were toast. And Trump's endorsement has become this limp, unreliable, increasingly incapable of helping thing. And Trump's endorsement can't help you get over the finish line anymore. In Florida, we saw Trump-backed Congressman Cory Mills lose his primary to former TV anchor Ryan Elijah. Mills got about 34% of the vote. Elijah won badly with 47%. Trump then gave Mills his coveted, or Trump had given Mills, rather, his coveted complete and total endorsement. But the moment Mills lost, Trump changed his tune. Check this out. Before the election, Trump went on Truth Social and he said, Congressman Cory Mills is an America First patriot, tremendous champion for the great people of Florida's 7th Congressional District. He talks about all of his various credentials, and he says, Cory Mills has my complete and total endorsement. He will not let you down. But then, after the loss, Trump posts, I told Congressman Cory Mills of Florida, a friend of mine, to get out of the race, but he wouldn't listen. He thought he could win. So who can blame him? We now have a great candidate, Ryan Elijah, blah, 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 but I told him to get out. The moment he loses, Trump goes, I actually said he shouldn't even be running. Very convenient. Before, it's complete and total endorsement. After, it's I privately told him to get out. And then, demonstrating remarkable recovery time, Trump immediately endorses Ryan Elijah, who had just defeated his previous candidate. Ryan stands for everything MAGA, blah, blah, blah. He now has Donald Trump's complete and total endorsement. So I guess Trump's endorsement now means I completely and totally endorse whoever won 5 minutes ago. Now, Mills was a very damaged candidate. He faced a House Ethics Committee investigation surrounded by allegations of domestic assault, financial misconduct, all sorts of wrongdoing, all of which he denies, of course. But that is sort of part of the story. Trump couldn't get it done for an incumbent Republican congressman in Florida, Trump's own home state, I guess, although, we kind of go back. What does it really mean that Trump lives in Florida? To the extent that it's Trump's home state, he still wasn't able to help. Trump-backed Catalina Loff, who also lost in Florida, and Trump's candidate for governor in Wyoming, Megan Degenfelder, also lost, joining Pamela Yvette in South Carolina, and Randy Feenstra in Iowa, and Burt Jones in Georgia, and Andy Ogles in Tennessee, and Sid Miller in Texas, and a whole bunch of other people. Now, Trump's people will say most of the people Trump endorses still do win. And he's got a 96% success rate. But as I've explained to you before, most of Trump's wins are pumped up almost like they were on Viagra by Donald Trump endorsing safe incumbents, candidates with no serious opposition, obvious favorites who would win with or without Donald Trump's support. But when you look at Trump's endorsements where there's pressure, where there's a challenge, where there's a real contest, the results really aren't so good. And every single time Trump fails, he pretends, I was never really into them. They were flawed. I suggested they get out. Now, this is happening while Trump is still the dominant figure in the Republican Party. His endorsement does matter. I'm not pretending that it doesn't. And Trump has helped carry some candidates over the finish line, including, for example, defeating John Cornyn, Ken Paxton in a primary, defeating the incumbent John Cornyn, although you could argue by the time Trump endorsed, it was kind of clear that Paxton was probably going to win. So the point is that this aura of invincibility, that if Trump endorses you, you win, and if Trump endorses your opponent, you lose, that's fading. And this is highly relevant looking at 2028, because Trump's power has really always depended on Republican politicians believing he could end my career if he's against me, and he can send my career into the stratosphere like a rocket if he supports me. As Republicans start to realize in a lot of these races, Trump's endorsement can't really reliably lift a candidate, the relationship to Trump is going to change very quickly. Now, he's still in control of the Republican Party as of right now. But after 11, 12 rejected endorsements, this whole complete and total endorsement thing is looking like it's not complete and it's certainly not total. It lacks the vigor and the girth and the potency that it once had. And when Trump really needs it to perform, it's coming up short. Is that enough double entendres for one segment? Let's hope that it is. But the reality here is that this is going to be a different environment in 2028. And it's going to be a different environment with regard to those in the House and those in the Senate, who I believe are going to see that the door is opened to actually not denouncing, but certainly drawing a distinction from Trump, separating from Trump. You are going to be seeing many more Republicans say, I was against the Iran war. I was against the tariffs, because they are going to perceive correctly, assuming things keep going in this direction, that Donald Trump's endorsement isn't the most important thing. And Donald Trump endorsing your opponent isn't the threat. It doesn't pose the risk that it once did. And that then is going to get us to the presidential election. Donald Trump believes he will and wants to be the kingmaker in the 2028 Republican primary. He's playing these games. Marco's really good, but JD's really good. They're all good. Who's it going to be? He wants to turn it into a reality show where he is ultimately the decider. That could be snatched from him completely, where he ends up in a situation where nobody really cares who Trump endorses, or this would be a disaster for Trump, that Trump's endorsement is actually a problem. Remember, some in the audience are old enough to remember 2008, where John McCain was the Republican nominee. And you would think that George W. Bush would have been out there front and center campaigning for John McCain. But everybody knew that Bush was deeply unpopular. And so George W. Bush mostly stayed off the campaign trail. McCain still lost to Barack Obama, didn't change that. But it was a calculation born out of the realization that this guy may actually be a drag to us on the campaign trail. We could be rapidly heading towards a scenario where if Donald Trump is alive at the time that the 2028 campaign is up and running, he may be kept far from the campaign trail because he will do a lot of damage and not really do any good. That is the underlying story of these 12 failed endorsements. And this is only one of the disasters that Donald Trump is dealing with today. One of our sponsors today is the new book by George Koch called Bullies, Parasites, and Slaves. Bullies take from others to benefit themselves, and they pretend to be our only defenders as a ploy to get our support. And the instant a bully doesn't need us, we become their next victims. We need to wise up and see this. Parasites are the people hiding behind titles and offices, subsidizing their wealth by ruthlessly underpaying everybody below them, like the CEO who makes more before lunch than you make in a year. And then there's the hybrid bully parasite king who sends the poor to war, to conquer, to kill, to enrich himself and his friends. That's what this book exposes, and it really nails it. Replacing exploitation with mutual care. You can get Bullies, Parasites, and Slaves in paperback, ebook, or audio. You can even get it for free if you need. Go to bps.online or text my last name, Pakman, to 511-511. The link is in the description.